Welcome to this presentation about the article iPhone Success. In this presentation I'm going to talk about how Apple very well managed to succeed with their iPhone and also how they thought differently compared to the rest of the mobile phone industry. As some of you maybe know, Apple's trademark associates with their slogan, Think Different. In their business idea, they point out the importance of having a leader role in the industry and constantly develop new and different ideas. In the next slide, you will hear the earlier campaign, which is based on their thoughts about thinking different.
Here's to the crazy ones, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
In the past decades, the mobile phone industry has focused on creating a brand new value network for mobile internet, only designed for mobile phones. The industry believed that a new version of the internet was needed before the mobile data could succeed. Apple, on the other hand, went against the flow, but how did they do it? In the 90s, the mobile phone industry was growing rapidly. The revenues of the mobile phone companies, such as Nokia, Motorola and Ericsson, were growing fast. They were sure about their position in the industry because of the high entry barriers of radio expertise, scale economies and global distribution channels. The profitability of mobile voice services had drastically reduced. It was a zero-sum battle for market share when iPhone was introduced in 2007. But thanks to Apple's iPhone, the mobile phone industry turned over. When the iPhone was introduced, the phone were different from all the other mobile phones on the market. It had a large touchscreen for viewing video on the web and no physical keyboard or keypad. The browser was based on computer standards rather than rewritten for the mobile phone. It had a custom user interface which was specially designed for the iPhone, and the biggest difference, except the web browser, were the advantage of already having their integrated system with iTunes. The iPhone did not only differ by the design from the competitors, they also was consistent using an end-to-end system designed to both create the value and capture the value. The iPhone is an exemplary case which verified the system, as you can see in this figure. Apple wanted to have control over the user experience by making sure that the iPhone would only be able from retail or online stores owned by Apple or Singular. To be able to use the phone, unlike most of the other smartphones, Apple's system required that all iPhone buyers activated Singular phone services and subscribed to mobile data services. To control that, Apple locked the phone so it could not be used on other phone networks. Apple did a smart move by concentrating their initial marketing and rollout of the iPhone in its home market where their brand iPod and iTunes penetration were strongest. Apple sold 270,000 iPhones the first 30 hours. After cutting the price, the sales went up to 1 million. The sales of iPhone also benefited from the publicity and a strong word-of-mouth recommendation from their customers. The strengths and weaknesses of the iPhone gave the competing hardware companies a benchmark to target. The good distribution that Apple had gave the competitors in US and Europe a drift to promote competing devices, such as LG and Nokia. Apple created competitors at all levels with their iPhone, good distribution and end-to-end system. The competitors lacked these factors and didn't have the experience in building such systems, which made it hard for them to duplicate the ease of use of the iTunes and iPhone system. The results of this was that the competing operators got limited pricing power. In 2008, Apple released the new 3G iPhone, but the day before that they opened an online marketplace called the iPhone App Store. In the same time, they released a software update that allowed existing customers with iPhone and iPod Touch to have access to the new features, including the App Store. 6 months after the launch of App Store, the store had more than 15,000 applications and 500 million downloads. 3 months later, the digit had doubled. In November 2009, the digit had reached to 100,000 applications and 2 billion downloads. First, the iPhone came up with the idea of using internet without redesigning it for the mobile phone, which made web browsing popular with iPhone and the iPod, as you can see in this figure. iPhone's adoption of the mobile internet led to high market share and customer loyalty, which affected positively the success of the iPhone. It also leveraged their system capability to gain a strong position in the mobile phone industry. Apple made the consumers to believe that there was a meaningful difference between iPhone and the concurrent devices, which were a good branding strategy to create brand equity. Apple also had a good reputation and loyal customers, which gave the new customers trust in the iPhone as a product. Apple's advantage came from its integrated approach that leveraged its decades-long system competencies in hardware, software, and system design. These competencies made it possible for Apple to successfully create a product family, which enabled the opportunity to enter the crowded mobile phone market. This is Acre's brand equity model, which shows 5 categories linked to the brand equity. These 5 categories provides value for the customer and for the firm. When I look at where Apple with its iPhone is today, I believe they succeeded to fulfill these 5 categories.